Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, mother. With Nery Saenz. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
Welcome to the party, pal.
Steph, anie Meyer-Senior.
Yeah, I don't have to look cute for you.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah!
And Mike Mercadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla, boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast. My name is Mike Mercadal. With me, as always, is
Nery Saenz.
Nery Saenz. Thank you to Dave Chappelle for dropping in every week and just introducing us. We couldn't thank him any more than we already do. Nery, it's been a minute. How is your week? What are we talking about? What are we feeling? How are we doing? You're at home. You're not out in the middle of the ocean.
Finally, there was a time there where I flew over back from Dublin on Saturday, and I was supposed to have an hour connection in Philadelphia, and that hour connection turned into 2 days. I got rebooked and canceled probably 6-7 times throughout the next day and a half, 2 days.
Oofa doofa.
And there was a time, for a good, I would say half a day, I was like, I might have to do this podcast at the Philadelphia airport. Like, I thought I'm going to be, they were like, the earliest we could get you out is like every day. They kept every like hour. There was one time where there was at one point where they booked me. Oh, your flight got canceled. And then I would have to call that number. And then they were like, okay, we're going to rebook you. And then they would be like, okay, we found this flight leaving on whatever, tomorrow, blah, 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 whatever. And you're like, fuck it, just give it to me, whatever. I don't care, whatever it is, just get me home. And then 20 minutes later, I got a text message saying your flight's been canceled. And that flight isn't for another, 30 hours. I'm like, the flight's canceled now?
What's the math on that? How is that happening?
How is that even happening? Like, I'm like literally, it was 11:25 in the morning on Sunday.
Oh man!
And they were telling me that my flight at 9:30 p.m. Monday was canceled, and I'm like, what the fuck is this math? Like, what's happening? Yeah,
I struggle because I get it, right? Like, they're coordinating the fact that people can fly in the United States and there's millions of airports and everybody's flying every day. The fact that it happens is a miracle and it's science in and of itself. But when you're like, wait, what? This is your job. Like, this is what you guys do. Like, so how are you not planning it better?
So here's the thing. So there was a hurricane, and we'll talk about that later. There was a hurricane in Florida, but that hurricane, first of all, hadn't hit on Saturday. Second of all,
they were scared of the hurricane, and that made the planes afraid.
Second of all, my luggage made it on Saturday. My luggage, I'm like checking my bag. I'm like, oh, where's my baggage? And then my luggage is
for those continuing.
My luggage is at on Saturday.
Yeah.
At West Palm Beach, which, by the way, it was only West Palm Beach and not Miami because my Miami flight got canceled, and the closest they could get me is West Palm Beach. I said, "Fuck it, I'll have my wife pick me up. It's an hour and a half drive. I don't give a shit." And my luggage got there on that flight that I was canceled. I'm like, wait a minute, but if it's canceled because of the hurricane, how did the luggage get there?
Brother, there's so much going on in this, like that we are like the least of, like, that's when you kind of have to meditate and be like, give control back to the universe. You have to you're along for the ride. This is a test.
Not a single time that I curse or I was just like, oh fuck, oh this girl, oh fuck, this is crazy. Oh wow, like that's a lot. Every time I would call, and I called a lot because they kept canceling my flights. Every time I would call and talk to a rep, they would be so nice, and I would tell them it's not your fault. I know you're going through. I know you're getting yelled at by. I'm sure you're getting yelled at by.
Straight up Robin Williamsing at the end of Good Will Hunting. It's not your fault.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
And the guy's like,
yeah.
It's not your fault.
Yeah.
You're hugging a gate agent.
And so I have no problems in saying I didn't lose my cool at all. I just thought it was pretty shitty that I was like, all of these things are like, I lost a gig. I was supposed to be on a cruise ship on Monday.
Ooh.
And I lost a gig because I couldn't make it. And I was like, all right. I mean, but again, it is what it is.
Bro, I gotta be honest. Lately, I've been running out of "it is what it is." I got like a few more "it is what it is" in me, but it is what it is.
Why
much.
I will be honest with you. It's really it was a lot easier for me to go through that because I had a fucking phenomenal week. And
yeah, you did have a good. Like it was worth the price. That was the price that you paid.
And it was just like, whatever, man. Yeah, whatever. Like, it was just, hey,
we're all good here, man.
Hey, who would have thought that we would be here?
Not us, man. Look at us. Look at us.
Just,
hey, everybody watching this. This is the What's Up Bro podcast, and we've been going strong for over a decade. And if you're watching us live,
12 years, buddy.
That's right. If you're watching us live on Facebook or YouTube or on Instagram, we are also on Instagram. Get in the comments and tell us about travel nightmares. Tell us about your hurricane prep rituals, hurricane party rituals. Because
preps anymore in Florida, bro. I really don't believe anybody preps anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think it's
know what it is. I think once the technology of like hurricane shutters and windows became a thing.
Yeah.
I don't because
there's no plywood.
Yeah, there's no plywood. No, nobody's drilling fucking plywood into the walls anymore. Like that's not happening.
That is the boomer. That's gonna be my old man yells at clouds thing where I was like, back in my day, we had to buy pieces of wood. And we had to drill holes into the wall.
Like there's no more prepping anymore. Now it's like just get like that's just
yeah.
I have hurricane windows that I got like 2 years ago, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Like
whatever, man. Let shit hit my windows. Let it. But thank you for watching us. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Get in the comments, and if you have opinions, we want to hear them. We have. You can also listen to us on the audio medium. You can listen to the original audio listeners, which is the most of you, on all platforms. So just go look it up. Follow us at WUBro Pod on all social media. Follow at Mike Mercadal, at Nery Saenz. Getting all of that out of the way early. Now we can actually talk about the most important thing you did this weekend, which was go see Deadpool and Wolverine. Finally, we could talk about it. What is huge spoiler alert for what's about to go down? Because if you haven't had this thing spoiled for you yet, or if you haven't seen it, at this point, I don't really care.
So
I kind of do, but it's also like enough time has passed that if you're watching this podcast where you have a Captain America thing over your shoulder, and this is one of the like nerdier podcasts that would we embrace that side of things. We talk about it all the time. We're gonna mention things.
So here's what I'll say. The Russo brothers came up with a really good system when Infinity War and Endgame was happening. And they remember they had that letter.
Yes.
So like keep it quiet, blah blah, don't spoil anything. And they put a 2-week limit. They put a 2-week time frame on it. And their logic was sound. Maybe people don't have the availability to, work and life gets in the way of the first weekend. So they said, let the second weekend finish. Give them a full 2 weeks, whatever. And I think we're at that point now, right? Where it's 2 weeks now?
Roughly, I think.
When did it come
out? I am not. Oh, Yolanda says, I've muted you. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I don't know how to feel about this.
And so here's the thing. So now what I was going to say is, as much as I would have no problems in keeping it quiet and not doing spoilers. The production themselves has spoiled so much.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If you follow Ryan Reynolds, the pictures he's posted, and it's like, what are you doing, man? Like this is fucking bonkers. Their San Diego Comic-Con panel.
Yes,
was like. And
did you see it? So, what did you have?
None of it was spoiled for me. You spoiled. The only thing that was spoiled was you spoiled that it was a continuation. That the end credit scene of Deadpool 2 was canon. I honestly thought when I was watching Deadpool 2 and he was like using the shit to go back in time and fix things, I thought that was just like a gag. I thought that was just like a fourth wall gag.
Oh no, I totally believed. Yeah. Oh, interesting.
I did not think that. I thought I was like, because he shot Wade. He shot basically.
He
Deadpool.
did, yeah. But with the TVA and Loki, they kind of created all the multiple timeline things.
But that okay, so that wasn't a thing, and in part 2 there was no TVA, right?
It made it possible for
so
this
last week when you were like, oh yeah, but they show you at the end of part 2, I'm like, oh shit. So you're the one that told me that was canon. I did not know that was canon.
Oh, then that's not even a spoil. I thought I had spoiled the thing when I mentioned anchor beings.
I don't even know. I literally said I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't.
Right. It has actually been 2 weeks.
Yes, it's been 2 weeks.
So Yolanda, sorry, you got to mute it.
I didn't get anything spoiled for me, but I'm the day that I saw it, and I don't know if this is just the way the algorithm works, and it's very possible that is what happened. But the day after I saw it, there was so much spoiled for me on the internet that I was like, thank God I saw it yesterday.
Right.
This shit came fast and hard. Like just so many spoilers, just boom, boom. So
the second you open up the floodgates, it's like everything.
I think I had seen leading up to it something about X-23. And that I was like, whatever. I mean, when the title has Wolverine in it, it's not far-fetched to think like that wasn't much of a spoiler for me. I'm like, okay. Whatever.
X-23. So my surprise. So I loved the movie. I thought it was great. It was the like a perfect kind of encapsulation of like the vibe in Marvel right now, where everybody's just like, what, like take the L, let's start over, erase things, let's just stick to what we're good at, and incorporating Deadpool into the MCU, where they're literally like, we can't, joking. They literally said you can't show drug use or drugs, but they just said, but they were like, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to say cocaine 1,000 times. We're going to make fun of Kevin Feige. We're going to make fun of DC. We're going to make fun of Henry fucking Cavill shows up. But I was so curious.
He posted his picture.
He posted it.
Even he posted his picture, and you're like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Yolanda, look away.
Or listen away.
Listen away. This is this was actually the response, Zack Snyder's response, that Henry Cavill would be treated better than the studio down the street, which Zack Snyder grinned on the actor being sidelined by DC. Snyder responded, well, Henry's an amazing Superman to me. Obviously, I hired him. I want him to be Superman. So any coins left on the table are unfortunate, and in that way, it would be great to have more Henry. So of course, like the idea that that they kind of pulled out all the meta stops. You know what I mean? Like they pulled out.
They could have put out one more though. They could have put out one more. They could have put out his character from Blade.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that until afterwards. Way afterwards. Like it wasn't until way afterwards that I was like, oh shit, he
could have been. Well,
Hannibal. What's his name? Hannibal
Kane.
No, that doesn't sound right. But Hannibal something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Hannibal Kane, I think it was. The Battle of Cannae. No, that's a different thing. No. The idea that they were able to do all this stuff because it's a Deadpool movie and just kind of like, whatever. When they showed that they basically, because I walked into the movie and they were like, oh, how are we going to do it without shitting on Logan's corpse? Like disrespectful, disrespectful to Logan.
They literally disrespected Logan's fucking. Hannibal King.
King. I was close. They literally beat the shit out of the TVA with the dead body of Logan from Logan.
The skeleton.
They use him as fucking weapons. Like all of it was kind of perfectly lined up. When they showed the 5'3" Wolverine, I thought that was fucking genius. Like so many.
They said it.
Yeah.
Comic accurate Logan.
Yeah. This movie, I said it afterwards. I was talking to Watkins, and I said afterwards, this movie was like a reward for having been a nerd for 40 years. It kind of felt like if you had it, like I lived through all of the things that they talked about in this movie. the best of all being the Channing Tatum Gambit being such inside deep cut baseball.
There are people that don't know what the fuck that's all about.
They are okay. So I was sitting watching the movie. I watched it with my wife. My wife comes to this stuff and she gets a kick out of watching me watch it because I'm like, I'm reacting to all this stuff, and she's just like, oh, how cute.
The
Look
same
at this.
way,
What a boy.
the same way when you were watching Roadhouse, like the same reactions.
Yeah, the exact ones were like, but less like grimacing, less like, oh.
That's a decision. That's a choice.
Yeah. The whole theater was kind of losing their minds. The cameos at the end, I'm so glad that they were not spoiled for me. I'm so happy I went to see it on the first fucking day. That it bothers me that other people will have had that taken away from them, who are like me, who have like, why would you ever want to spoil that for yourself?
And that's what I kept saying about the trailers. I'm like, why are we showing this many fucking trailers? It's Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, there's not much selling you got to do. We're fucking in. They could have just shown a still of the poster with the yellow costume.
Right.
Like, everybody was in.
Everybody was in.
Nobody was like, I need more convincing. Give me 3 more trailers. No, who the fuck? I want to meet the person who was like, I didn't know if I was gonna go see it or not, but that third trailer really did it for me.
The third one, yeah.
What are you doing? Why are there so many trailers?
Yeah, I want to say
I don't even know why they had a fucking San Diego Comic-Con panel.
Well, that was egregious to me when all of a sudden all of the cameos come out on stage the day after the fucking thing opened. So first of all, the cameos they decided on were like, I would have never guessed it in my whole life. The trailers would have never led me to believe.
Some of them I understood. Some of them
the X-23 one I understood.
X-23 I got, and then I thought she was going to be a bigger part of it. The Lady Deathstrike. I thought she would be.
Those cameos were different than the like guest appearances or whatever you want to call them. The people who had actual substance in the story, bro. When Chris Evans says "flame on," the audience was like erupted, and it was like that recognition of like, oh, we're in for this kind of thing, where it is going to be way deeper cut than we thought. It's not an MCU movie. This is a Fox movie being blown out of proportion, like being blown up. It was like everything felt super earned. But what the point I was trying to make before was that like, had I not gone through all the stages of going to see X-Men 1 in the theater, all of the drama of X3 being bad and everybody hated it, and then all of the new X-Men's being kind of First Class and McAvoy and Stewart.
First Class was freaking amazing.
First Class was great, but then the Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix were not. They were fine, I guess.
Apocalypse was all right. Dark Phoenix was not. That was a bad situation.
And even the Fantastic Four movies they referenced, it was like, oh, they are combining fucking Elektra comes out. I was like, what? And then when Blade finally comes out,
did you see the shot towards Daredevil or towards Ben Affleck that they took? So good.
They even mentioned Hugh Jackman's divorce.
Yes. Daredevil died. Oh no, she's like, it's all right.
It's all right. There is gonna be more on the screen. Let's say, so this I think is one of the most like rewarding moments of the movie for me. We already mentioned it, but it is this Gambit spoiler. The Gambit, the amount of, first of all, laughs that he got at with the Cajun accent, but also like how badass they presented him. It's like it was like such a middle finger to anybody who said that it was not a good movie to make. But I don't think they could have made Gambit back when Gambit was on the table. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the way it was, the way the industry was at that point, they needed something else. They needed the MCU to have taken everything in a different direction.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know, but it was awesome.
It would. I mean, at least have to be considering it now, right? A Gambit movie.
have to
They
be,
have to
dude.
at least be considering it.
Or
And
at the
and
very
make it a
least,
straight up comedy. And
I
make it a straight up
that
comedy.
I feel like
First
it
of all,
was,
can we talk about the fucking badassery of the Gambit cards? How great that looked on fucking
on film.
on film. Oh
Yeah.
my god. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like that was
It was
you know what
straight.
they
or
should have brought in the dude who played Gambit in the Origins movie.
Oh, Taylor Kitsch or whatever his name is.
Kirsten, whatever the fuck his name
Taylor,
is.
yeah.
But they should have had both of them in there. And it was
Just be like all the Gambit you want.
just like a wink, just like a are you? And then kill one of them off, kill the other one off.
Yeah. I look, there was a ton of like, and there's a lot of like cameos, like a lot of everybody in that void is reference to something else. Everyone there, like Pyro having a role in the movie at all is great. Like, yeah, the all of the Juggernaut helmet being important to like the process made sense.
Helmet too. Oh my god.
Yeah,
shitty helmet.
But it was from the X3.
No, I understand. I'm just saying it's
we're all the same.
during X3, it was still a shitty helmet. I'm not fucking saying.
Yeah.
That was a real shitty helmet.
The truth of the matter is,
bitch, that would have been a great callback line if they would have used that.
So now that this movie exists, does it make sense? How do you feel this movie plays into the new Blade movie that's supposed to be made? You know what I mean? Like
fucking great line.
There's always only gonna be one Blade.
Yeah, there's one Blade, and there's always only gonna be one Blade. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh, interesting. You know, that was like
do you know it's been 5 years since they announced Blade?
Yes, man.
And
I remember.
There's still not like they still don't have a script or a director.
They've probably had like 16 different scripts. It's constantly
when you have 16 scripts, you don't have one.
Exactly. What I'm saying is that they probably. I think this movie rewrites the Blade movie. I think it's going to quietly disappear the same way that Kang did. You know, like they're going to be. Kang is going to be like Smoochie or Poochie from The Simpsons, where he's I need to return to my home planet now. Yeah.
Did you see the interview with Kevin Feige when they asked him straight up about Kang?
Yeah, I didn't grab it for this for the podcast. But
he said, "I applaud you for the bravery of asking me directly about that. I give you credit." That's what he said. I give you credit for directly asking me that, like bravely asking me that. Just the same way I'll give myself credit for actively avoiding answering that question.
Yes,
like he's just like not gonna fucking say anything. Which is a good way of saying it, I think.
Yeah, saying go fuck yourself without saying.
No, he's not saying go fuck yourself. He's saying like I understand what you asking, but I'm not gonna answer that. Like I'm not like.
I mean, how would you expect them to answer that question? You know what I mean? Like, how would you even?
Honestly, crazy. Can you imagine that?
Can you imagine? It's like, yeah, fucker shouldn't have got arrested.
Yeah. Can you imagine he would have been like, man, I would have loved to have done that movie, but because he got arrested, we can't do shit because these punk guys' pussies are too fucking sensitive. And his cancel culture got out of hand. Well, it would have been great. Everyone would be like, yeah, no, we completely understand.
I disagree with that statement, but I would have been like,
oh, I disagree with the statement, but I'm saying I'm sure that's what he feels.
I think here's what I think.
That they fired him the day, like an hour after he got convicted.
I think it would have been amazing. Like he's like, if only he hadn't been arrested. Because we can PR the rest of this shit.
Not arrested. It was convicted, Mike.
They fired him after the conviction or the arrest?
They fired him an hour after the conviction. Oof. An hour. Not even. Like within the hour. He was arrested and went through trial and he was still not fired. And then within the hour of him being convicted, Marvel released a Jonathan is no longer with us, whatever.
Jonathan Majors. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Did you see Jonathan Majors' response to Robert Downey Jr.
playing Dr. Doom?
Yeah, did you see that?
He said something about like
he's like, I agree with, and I hope that everybody gets a second chance at after doing something dumb.
Yeah.
After getting in trouble with the law or something to that effect. And I was like, It's fair.
Yeah, but
Fair.
he's had he suffered because of it. He was out of Hollywood for a while. He went to jail. He, like Robert Downey Jr.
Which would stand to, on his point, Jonathan Major's point is, I didn't go to jail. This guy actually went to jail, and now he's back.
Right, but he paid for it by being out of Hollywood for a while. You got to let the fires cool down a little bit and redeem yourself in other ways. You can't just be like, oh, well, this other guy got away with it. It's like, no. It's like he went to Hollywood jail for a few years.
Redeeming yourself and getting away with it are not exactly the same thing.
Yes, that's very different stuff. Do you want to see the trailer for Avengers Doomsday?
Is there a trailer?
No, but these people keep releasing shit like the AI stuff, and I don't know, it's kind of interesting.
Our realities might not have been very different from each other.
And then it's just a bunch of quick cut bullshit. But
same fate. I warned you, but you didn't listen. I told you they were doomed. Now you're faced with something you don't understand. But you feel it too, don't
where's Shang-Chi this whole time?
Oh, by the way, did you see that? They interviewed Aquafina?
They interviewed Aquafina?
Aquafina was at Comic-Con, and she was promoting a different movie.
Oh, okay.
They asked her, have you heard anything about Shang-Chi 2? And she said, nope.
That was her just straight up like...
Well, she was like, no, I haven't. As a matter of fact, I've heard nothing about Shang-Chi 2. I hope to hear from them soon. It was not on the timeline of shit they released. Shang-Chi 2 is nowhere near to be found. And I'm like, wasn't that like a box office hit?
It was a hit, but it was people got mad at the Marvelization of the ending, and they were like, "Oh, why did it end that way?" Like, it was this super cool movie until it was a dark gray fight at the end with the bad guy using the same powers as the good guy. It was like Ant-Man versus Yellow Jacket again. Iron Man versus
or like every comic book in the history of comic books.
It's like, wait, you're telling me this guy's bad guy is like his powers, but in reverse? Oh, like, oh my god, how exciting!
So wouldn't it be weird if like Iron Man's arch nemesis was like Aluminum Boy or some shit? Or like the opposite, like the opposite of Iron.
Iron Man's is Rust Girl or something.
Like some crazy shit was like.
Anyway,
the Rust Wrangler.
No, yeah. How do you feel about trailers like this, like these things that are just engagement,
fan made? Whatever, it's fine. I didn't mean, you have an editing tool. It's fine. Whatever.
It's just
care about it. Does it like I saw the same thing with Endgame when the portholes opened up and then Superman came out.
Yeah,
it's like all right, man, whatever. It's like, can you imagine? It's like I feel like whenever that happens, like I'm not trying to take away somebody's fun. You're having fun making that whatever, but it makes me laugh how fast that spreads because people are like it makes me feel as if Chris Farley's character in Billy Madison, like, not me, but a friend of mine. No, he didn't.
Could you imagine?
Could you imagine though? It's like, oh,
yeah, of course I can imagine.
Whatever, dude.
That's what
a lot of fun is to imagine. Like, all right, whatever, dude.
There's a whole thing in the anime community of people that are power levelers. Well, they'll do this thing of like, oh, this person beats this person. This, like Goku beats everybody. Goku beats Superman. Sure. And then like the Hulk versus Naruto, and then all these things. It's like, yeah, but like this, my favorite response to always that's like, oh, could Batman really beat Superman? With enough time, is Batman really beating everybody? Could Thor beat Superman? Who knows? Like all of those questions are basically answered by Stan Lee, who was like, who wins between a fight versus the Hulk and Spider-Man? It's like whoever the writer decides.
Yeah, whoever the writer decides is gonna happen, and he's right. That I don't mind those arguments. Those are like fun. Those are fun conversations, right? Like who would win, whatever. And here's the truth: I would rather those conversations, than the conversations of is LeBron better than Jordan? Holy
yes.
And this is and I'm a fan of basketball. I'm a fan of sports. I'm a fan of team sports. I
Mm.
love basketball, and I loved MJ growing up as a kid, and I love LeBron now. I fucking hate that conversation. Like
Yeah.
so many, and not just about them. Like who's better, Montana or Brady? Like are these fucking like hypotheticals? And you just go, what? Can we just talk about fucking Mighty Mouse versus Superman? I'd rather talk about that. I'd rather
Ooh,
talk
that's a
about,
good one. Mighty Mouse versus Superman is a great one.
I'd rather fucking talk about that. I'd rather
Yeah.
like it's just so fucking dumb. And people get so offended because these like it's so funny because people get so aggravated about like these basketball conversations, and you're like, okay, and they think that those conversations are more worthy
Yeah.
because they're around real people, right? I'm using the air quotes because just because it's real people doesn't mean that it's any more possible.
Yeah.
You're talking about two different eras. You're talking about fucking time travel. I mean, how is this?
It's also like I don't. So in the Olympics, they like they're doing that. There's a lot of memes that show like this is buying a house in 1940 versus buying a house now,
Sure,
and it
yeah,
shows the difference in like the gymnastics vault, right?
Yes,
Like the guys who just,
yes,
and it's what
that guy just landed. He just did a cartwheel in the air and like, whoa, fucking
he literally just puts his hands on the thing and he goes whoop whoop and he stands. And it's like buying a house back then and then buying a house now. Yeah, gold. Perfect 10.
Perfect.
Wait, his
Is
feet
he on
over
steroids?
his head.
Is he on steroids?
Yeah,
He's on steroids.
human? This man. And then now they're doing like 16 million flips in the air and landing, and a toe gets out of line, and they're like, you lose, you loser. You know, it's like what I did is amazing, and it's like that would have killed a normal person, and they're like, yeah. The sprint
on Instagram, Coach says that was the best character in Billy Madison. I'm assuming that's gonna be about what's his name, Chris Farley.
Yeah.
And then did you just swig Pepto? No, this is not Pepto. This is Prime. It's Prime. Which is hilarious. And then they said hypothetical conversations are fun because it requires creative imagination, and that's what I believe.
You know who that is, right?
Coach?
Quantum physics?
No, that's not. I'm talking about Coach.
You're talking about the Pepto.
That's I thought it was the same person. My camera's covering it.
Yeah. That's your boy.
It's my BFF. That's
your BFF.
I thought it was Coach because Coach kept saying all these things. No, it's not Pepto. It's Prime, and yes, that's Quan. Quan's in the house.
What's up, man? There's so much about what you were doing this whole week that made it so great for you to deal with all of your travel problems that we can't talk about.
Yeah.
That is that
will
will be.
I haven't even talked to you about it, so I can't even talk to you about it.
I know we can't even talk to each other about it. We got into it a little bit before the show. That's why we were kind of late. But it was like
but got into it like my travel shit. I just want to put that out to the producers. I have not talked to anybody, including Mike, about the actual show. I have just what he's talking about now is I made the comment of like, I don't give a fuck. I had such a great week. I don't care about what happened.
Right. The arrangements of the it's bothering me that I can't, that you are so like, come on, man. I mean, don't do it on the show, but come on, tell me privately.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who cares? They'll tell me what the show is about.
Yeah.
Man. Anyways.
I'm having people reach out to me on Instagram that were like, hey, I saw that you're gonna be on blah blah blah, and I was like, well, I didn't tell you that, and they're like, no, yeah, just fucking whatever. Like, I'm just like,
were they right?
and I'm just like, I literally don't respond. I'm like, I'm not doing the same thing. I'm not just don't know what you're talking about.
No, you don't. You would be good in the MCU then. Like all of these people who had to keep this shit quiet.
Oh, I'd be really, really like. Yeah,
I would be bad. I don't think I could keep it in.
Quan says this. Brian, my BFF, Brian says that these normies who are not into any of the fucking entertainment industry, they're like, oh, they can't fucking keep it a secret, right? They can't whatever. And I'm just like, you guys are gonna find out when you find out, and you guys are it's gonna happen when it happens. And here's the thing, because I am, no matter what I've done, I know that especially when it comes to TV, I've never done anything in TV, but I've been around on the fringes of the industry long enough to know that the power's in the editing.
Yes,
so
they can cut you right out of there.
Put me the fuck out. It could just show my hand and then be like, well, this person, whatever. Like, I was there. That's my hand. I don't want to do that. Like, I don't give a, like, I did that thing with Will Smith.
Oh, right. Yeah. I didn't know about that until later either.
And then if you blinked, you missed me.
Yes, that's
so
right.
It's like, oh, okay. whatever. And again, and there's nothing. That show wasn't about me. I wasn't there for me. Obviously, Will Smith is the headliner on that one, so I wasn't expecting a big. But all I'm saying is I'm not as excited as I am. I'm just excited that I got to do all the cool shit that you see on TV. Like I got to do like they mic'd me up and they were like and they were sound and they were doing this and like
Yeah.
all that was very. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then you get to see the lights and the cameras or the way that shit rolls and that to me was the cool part. Like I'm experiencing this. This is like really happening to me. And here's a cool thing. I thought about Quentin Tarantino a lot because Quentin Tarantino is notorious for on his sets, cell phones are not allowed on his set.
Oh, right.
And cell phones were not allowed on this set at all.
Oh,
So I went 15 hours at a time with no cell phone at all, like nothing.
like the world's ending,
Like
you
the
know, like
world's
all
ending.
like the hurricane hits there's hurricanes by the way, and all of a sudden you like get back to your phone. Oh, you're like, oh no.
It's funny because people that were there, they're like, I was like, wow. I remember the first day, I was like, I think it's been like 10 hours. I don't even know what time of day it was. If you don't know what time of day
It was like a Vegas casino where there's no clocks,
yeah.
there's no windows.
And so then my friend was like, yeah, isn't it great to be without phones? I was like, nah, I really like my phone. Like, I don't know.
I miss it.
I really
my
like
friend,
phone.
where's my friend? I hold it close to my face for real. Yeah.
So
Brother, I don't know. I want to ask so many questions, but I know you're not going to answer them. I'll say this: the first time I was ever on set doing background work, even like just being an extra in a thing, was cool. There was a moment where you're like, "Oh, this is dope." Even I wasn't getting mic'd up. I was corralled with a bunch of people, and it was a bar scene
with the Ninja Turtles movie. That was fucking cool.
Oh, that's different. That when I was doing that was stand-in. That was me. Like there was like I was standing. You know who I was standing for?
Yeah,
Sheamus the wrestler.
Yeah.
So I had a beard, and it was I guess more red than I don't know if you can really see, but I have red in my beard. And then they were like, "Oh, you're tall and you have a beard. You're gonna be Rocksteady." I was like, "Great." All my hopes and dreams of childhood me are coming true. And they were like stand in for Rocksteady. And then because of confusion and other stuff, I got to stand in for Casey Jones. I was like, even more cool. My hopes and dreams are all I'm living the dream. There's the Shredder over there, like, oh my God, you know, like it was so crazy. I was hanging out with the guy who plays Bebop. He's an improviser.
You got a picture with Stephen Amell, bro.
I got a picture with Stephen Amell. I will say this: he's gone a little down in my ranking, but he will never be a bad guy in my book because he was super chill with me, even when he didn't have to be. But every set I've been,
why has he gone down in your ranking? Out of curiosity,
he was anti the strike for the SAG actors. He was like he's gone real weird with his like anti like union stuff and like it's just not fun to talk. Like he was like his show that he was producing got in trouble, so of course he's now the money guy. He wants to be, you know, all of that stuff. Like it changed my opinion of him a little bit. But hey, man, he was nice to me that day. Everything was a shit show on that.
Isn't it weird how far that goes when people are nice to you? Like you know what I mean? I hung out with Will Smith, and he was like the nicest human being on earth, like months before the Oscars. And then the whole thing with the Oscars happened, I was like, don't say nothing bad about my baby. Don't you dare. Don't say nothing bad. I don't give a fuck. I will die on that hill defending Will Smith. I don't give a fuck. And then people were like, but he hit a comedian, and you're a comedian. I'm like, don't you fucking say keep your motherfucking Will Smith's name out your fucking mouth because he was nice to me. Like that's how far like, being nice to people goes. Like, you know, he was nice that time.
The guy's name is Gary Anthony Williams. I keep calling one of Gary Anderson, but it's not him. Gary Anthony Williams is the actor that played Bebop. That guy forever. He's also done a bunch of voices on like the Boondocks and a bunch of cartoon stuff. I was like, that guy will forever be like dope. He was just super chill with me the whole time. Super cool. Like there's certain people who on set have not been cool with me. And I'm like, oh, they're talented actors, or they're not with me particularly.
How was the dude from Burn Notice? Was he cool with you?
He was not cool with me, but it's also like he was not cool. He was just like working, you know, and that like what I found out later, like I didn't expect him to be like, and what's your name? How are you? Who are you? Can you be my friend? Like some people want that shit, and I'm just like, hey, this guy's at work, and I'm a day player, like I'm a bit player. So of course, You know who was really cool? Patton Oswalt was really cool.
Yeah, you told me that. You told me.
I love Patton
then-
Oswalt and Bruce Campbell.
And Bruce Campbell. Yeah, I
They are
remember.
the coolest motherfuckers on earth.
Yeah, but you also did more things with them, right? Like you were in more
Yeah.
scenes with them than you were with whatever his name is.
And
Yeah.
it was like he choked me out. That guy that played Michael Weston, whatever his name is, I forgot his name.
You know why? Because he wasn't nice.
He wasn't nice to me. But yeah, like he choked me out, whatever. And then at one point I was like, oh man, that fucking hurt. And then he just kind of walked away. And I'm like, you don't even care that you hurt your actor. Like you don't want to like go. He's like, because at this point, who knows how many goons he's cycled through. That he's like
Matt Damon. This is an interesting story. Matt Damon tells a story that when he was doing the Bourne movies, right? Like everybody that he would fight would be actual fighters. Like they would be stuntmen, actual stuntmen. Yeah. So they knew what the fuck they were doing. And so every once in a while he would like really punch them unintentionally, but he would really punch them. And the deal with him was every time I punch you for real, his apology would be you get a bottle of wine from me. Right, so that would be one of the things. And then there was one time one guy was like, "You owe me like 2 cases of fucking wine," right?
Yeah.
and Matt Damon would retell this story. And then there was one guy, and I forget his name, but he was like a famous like UFC fighter or whatever. He's like, "Hey, so whenever I hit you, like I don't mean to hit you, I apologize, but whenever I don't hold back properly, I'll give you a bottle of wine." He goes, "How about you just don't hit me?"
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. I'll just hit you back.
Yeah, and then Matt Day, and so that's what you had. You were like, "Oh, you're choking me," and then he was like, "You just wanted him to be like, I'll give you a bottle of wine." Like, what did you want him to say? Like, what did you want?
I didn't know. It wasn't. I literally was like, he was choking me, and I was like, "Oh, that felt a little too real." Yeah, like, hey, man, I understand that. I'm not acting. I wasn't acting when I went. That was like a legit gag, like a legit gasping for air.
I could picture the director be like, "Perfect, Mike, do that every time." He's like,
I'm
"What?"
like,
no,
what?
That was blood curdling in my head. Like,
I'm not well. I'm doing bad right now. Please. And all right, Mike, we cut already. I'm like, I know. Yeah, it was.
My windpipe. That is a great ad lib. That's no. He crushed my windpipe.
He crushed my windpipe. And then I had to be like on the floor on the concrete. Everyone on the crew was really cool. They even did that thing when you're rapped and they clap for you and all that stuff. I was like, man, I've only been here a week. This is great. This is the best.
Yeah, that's the experience that I had this last week. I was like, this is fun. So imagine you going through a flight after that. You're like, that's fine.
And you went through, so just to stay on task, you went through all of that shit for some reason because of cocaine hurricanes, apparently.
Hurricane.
A coke hurricane.
So the hurricane blows. It was a hurricane Debbie. I'm sorry, and then blows $1 million worth of cocaine to Florida. Which sounds like a lot, but that could be. I mean, with inflation.
Yeah, that's like 1 kilo. That's like that's like one of the these 80s Weekend Warriors like weekend.
Yeah,
you know, like it's like what?
I just picture
spent 70 pounds.
I just picture somebody going like, "Lord, I need money. Please help me. Send help." And then the hurricane, and then a kilo of cocaine pops up, like rolls up next to them on the beach, and it's like, "Well, that's God. God sent me the sign."
Yeah.
How did you get into drug dealing? Like, well, God
did it. I prayed.
I prayed, and he sent me a kilo of coke. What else was there to do?
Quad says the cartel is getting really creative now, and it's basically like it's like, wait, these cartels could control the weather just to get the hurricane. I feel like you could better use the controlling weather part, not just masking cocaine onto the shore.
Well, also the Coast Guard.
That's also true. Get the Coast Guard out of the way. I love the comments. Half of y'all can't sell an eighth of weed. What are you going to do with bricks? Lord, I've seen what you've done for others. I hope it was originally 50 packages worth $2 million. Like that's like when someone finds a wallet with $1,000 and like returns it, and I was like, I found your wallet with $500 in it.
So look, Coach says when The Rock did the Scorpion movie, he gifted someone a Rolex.
Oh, for
I guess for
fucking
being
him up or something?
for being in the Scorpion King movie. Like you're in a shitty movie, man. Let me at least make it up to you and give you a fucking Rolex. That movie sucked.
That movie's bad, yeah.
That movie, but like, here's the thing: people always go like, "Oh, you're such a stan for The Rock." I'm like, I'm not. First of all, I'm not a stan for anybody. And
Yeah.
it's that's my example. It's like I'm a huge fan of The Rock, but I would honestly tell you the Scorpion King movie sucked. Like,
Yeah.
Baywatch sucked. I would never watch Doom because that movie looks like it fucking sucks. Like, there's
Doom,
no like,
yeah.
there's a lot of movies of his that I'm like, I don't, even like the big summer ones are like the big summer blockbusters. I'm like, some of them I could be like, yeah, it's an action movie, it's fine, whatever. Like whatever. I actually like the one with the big gorilla. Like I actually thought that was fun.
What was it? Rampage.
Rampage. I like that. It's based on on an
video game.
arcade, not even an arcade video game.
Yeah,
It's fine. Like it's a action movie. But there are other ones where I'm like, Red Notice. I'm like, it's fine.
Oof, yeah.
I don't think
That-
Red Notice was bad. I just don't think it was great.
It was just a filler movie. It was like one of those like, hey man, we got a hole in this budget. We got to release something, I still to this day don't understand Netflix's business model of what it's
But Netflix
doing.
claims that it's like the highest, like that's during that time, it was like the movie that's been watched the most in Netflix history.
The thing is that they don't publicly release anything. I can say that too. Hey, my bank account's got $6 million in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's the highest my bank account's ever been.
Bank account's the highest it's ever been. It's like, oh, that must mean he's doing well. Like, no, it just means I'm not doing negative.
I've never had more money in my account than this. It's like, wow, he's doing great. It's like, no, he's just usually doing bad.
Yeah, he's just usually doing a lot worse.
Yeah.
I get it. It could all be lies and whatever, but you're right.
I don't disagree.
I don't know how they make money. I don't know how Netflix makes money.
I don't know how to make money either. Like, are there that many subscriptions? Like, I don't have one anymore. I mean, I don't understand. Like it has to be deals with like product placement and releasing and advertising, like those hidden ads and like every movie is just like a series of product placement commercials, essentially. I guess, man. I don't know. I didn't realize there was that much money in it, especially if you're not releasing the numbers. You know what I mean? Like if you're not releasing the numbers, it's like, yeah, you could just say anything,
I saw, Deadpool Wolverine was phenomenal. The cocaine hurricane.
What would you do with that? Like genuinely, like let's talk it up.
I'm super boring. Like if I see that, I'm calling the cops. I'm that guy.
Literally, yeah.
Because cocaine, like again, to go like as someone who's never done even weed, I've never smoked weed, much less sell it. All of a sudden, what am I gonna do with fucking? That just screams, "Come kill me and my family."
Exactly. Look at that logo, though. That logo's a little dope. It's a signature, right?
I guess.
So, like, someone's like flipping through Instagram and going,
red magic. What is that? Red magic. What is that? What's that?
It's like a red, like it looks almost like Spider-Man, like
a boomerang almost.
It's like an X with the like, I don't know. Well, either way, whatever it is that somebody is flipping through their social media right now, going "fuck,"
or they're like, "Look at the fucking promotions they're giving me."
Yeah, everybody wants those red boomerangs,
Are that kind of promotions?
But it's always, and it says here, like a good Samaritan discovered the drugs and contacted authorities, and everybody's like, it's always a good Samaritan, man. It's never like the right person.
Yeah, but they gave up. Hey, here's 25 pack. How many did they find?
Again,
what if they found 30 and they gave away 25? Like, hey, I gave you 25.
Or they just kept.
Is there a reward for that?
I found 69 kilos of cocaine. It's like nice, and then nobody looks past the one that he's like smuggling into his house.
Did anybody do they get a reward for that?
That's a good question.
Like if a Brinks truck rolls over and you find a fucking bag of money, do you get a reward for that?
I don't know.
Like, I'll be honest with you, that I'll keep. I'm being 100 with you. I am keeping fucking cash.
If that money just rolls over,
if there's like a just money just appears, a Brinks bag appears, I'm keeping that money. I'm not keeping fucking 70 pounds of coke.
Yeah,
I'm not keeping a pound. I wouldn't even keep a pound of coke. I'm like, get the shit out of here. That just screams kill me and my entire family.
Yeah,
That's what I see.
so like how
Like, I'm pretty sure Brinks is not coming after me. I'm pretty sure
Right.
Brinks is not be like kill him and his family. I'm not doing, you know. what I
oh
mean?
watch that be the word, like the Boeing whistleblower assassins.
Yeah.
Those people don't fuck around, man. They're like that guy just they killed a dude over bad press. They'll kill a dude over money. They killed multiple dudes. There was like two or three people that died. These people do not care.
No. They got sick all of a sudden.
They got sick.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Wow, how
That's
unfortunate. If I found like any amount of cocaine and they were like, okay, you can sell it. They're like, hey, the cartel doesn't even know it's missing. You're absolved of any kind of guilt there. What would you do with it? I'd be like, I don't know. I have zero idea how to move weight. I don't know how to sell. Like, I would just literally open up like a lemonade stand with like.
I would be the guy that they catch because I Googled how to sell cocaine. That's what I'm
How to
Googling.
sell cocaine.
How do I sell cocaine that I found on the beach on 25th Avenue? Like, I would be that guy. His search engine literally asked this question. Like that, I would be that guy getting caught. That's how dumb I am.
I'd reverse image search the logo and be like, who does this belong to? I wouldn't even recognize it as cocaine. I'd just be like, some of these floating bricks.
One of them had to, like, he had to open one of them to be like, what the fuck is this?
I wonder, because there is one that's open. There's one that you can see clearly that's open, but I don't know.
Coach on Instagram wants to know that he says, I need to know y'all thoughts on M. Night Shyamalan movies. And why do you think M. Night Shyamalan makes bad movie endings? He says he has great concepts but can't execute finishes. It's like he falls asleep, LOL. Now, I'll say this. I'm a fan of M. Night Shyamalan, but M. Night Shyamalan makes bad movies, but he also makes great ones. And I don't think he gets recognition for the other ones that he makes because, like, I saw Devil. Did you ever see that one? Devil? The one the one in the elevator. It's the one in the elevator where like 8 people are stuck in the elevator.
I haven't seen it. That's good.
Good. It's good. I didn't even know it was M. Night Shyamalan until after I watched it. I'm like, hey, this is a good movie. And I'm not even a horror guy, but I'm like, this is a fucking good movie.
Yeah.
And then it was like directed by M. Night Shyamalan. I'm like, oh, get the fuck out of here. I need kind of specifics, Coach. Like, which movie did you not like? Which one of his movies? Because the movie with Mark Wahlberg sucked all the way through. That wasn't a good concept. That just sucked all the way through. Right? The Happening.
That was him?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Something in the trees. That one was bad. I was gonna be like, I'm trying to think of a bad one.
And the Happening.
Because I'll tell you this, I have not seen all of them. The ones I have seen, I've been like, fine. I didn't see Old.
I did not see Old. You're right. I did not see Old.
Like,
I saw. So he has a Sixth Sense. The Unbreakable series is phenomenal. Unbreakable, Split, Glass. Those are phenomenal. I didn't see Knock at the Cabin.
Oh, that's based on a novel. He didn't write that, but that one was great. I really liked that one.
He directed it.
Yeah,
right?
I really liked that one.
Yeah. Old. I didn't see. So I'm trying to think of what else directed. The Sixth Sense is the Sixth Sense. I almost rewatched that movie again today.
I mean, yeah. Signs. I remember watching Signs, and I loved it in the theater because of the way the sound makes everything like I watched it with a good audience. You know what I mean?
So I only saw Signs once at my house, and that scene scared the fuck out of me. That one scene, but afterwards, I never rewatched it because I was just like, water. The whole planet's filled with water.
Yeah,
it sounds like a fucking easy cop out.
The problem is that's also like there's so many stories where like water is the solution, and also like then why the hell did the aliens come to the planet that's mostly water? You know what I mean? Like, so I'm looking at the IMDb. There's a ton of stuff that I had no idea that he did.
Well, but are you looking at just directed, or are you looking at written?
Just directed? Just directed.
He hasn't done that many.
So what I'm looking at is these movies. I'm
The Village. I love The Village.
I don't know why The Village gets so much hate. Because
I don't know. I didn't know it got hate until years later. I'm like, what?
Years later.
I'm like, what?
I did. I'm trying to remember. Unbreakable, yes, great. The Happening, I never saw. The Last Airbender.
The Happening is the one with Mark Wahlberg with the plants. That movie.
Yeah.
You never
I have
saw
not
it?
seen. No,
Oh,
I never saw it. I
I
saw.
I went into the happening wanting
Mm,
to like it because everybody hated it, so I wanted to be the contrarian, and
mm,
I just couldn't. Like, I was like, "This movie sucks."
this really
I
sucks.
I
Yeah,
couldn't be the contrarian. I wanted to. I'm like, "Wow, this fucking movie
I
sucks."
do contend that late 2000s, the late aughts, there was a lot of garbage, but there was just it was hard to like. I think a lot of it, looking back on it, you're like, oh, these people are just trying to throw anything at the wall to see what sticks to make franchises. Because that was also like the Harry Potter time, and like everybody was trying to crank out a franchise. And like when the last Airbender came out, you could tell like all of these are a lot of these are jobs that he had. I don't think these are like the things that he wanted to do. There's a podcast called Revisionist History. This guy Malcolm Gladwell, and he does this. What is it called? Where it's like production hell or something hell, where he talks about movies that never got made.
Sure.
And he does one with M. Night Shyamalan that what's it called? It's called Development Hell.
Okay.
Is the series, and he does, but there's some great amazing stuff where you're listening to it and you could kind of see like it all has to do with whether or not the studio thinks it can make money, timing, because there was a movie in that series, some guy wants to make a movie about, it was called like The King or something like that, and it's all about Michael Jackson's chimpanzee Bubbles, about how he's a king and he was the lord of like of all of these chimpanzees in an enclosure, and he's basically recounting the story of Michael Jackson, told from the perspective of Bubbles, and the way they describe it is so fucking good. But then all of
Bubbles the monkey?
Bubbles the fucking monkey, and it like you have to listen to it because the way I'm saying it sounds dumb, but when you hear the people who have the idea tell it, it takes on a whole different meaning. You know what I mean? Like what's her name? Patty Jenkins, the Wonder Woman director. She's in there with this amazing movie that you're like, man, I wonder if it's even possible to make about a guy and a dog, about a prisoner, a pet program thing. A fucking Elvis movie with Cameron Crowe. Like some of these big name people who have had stuff that just never gets made.
Sure.
And M. Night Shyamalan has one.
Channing Tatum had one that never got made.
There's so many movies that don't get made that makes you wonder how they kind of have to shitty a movie down a little bit so that the producer, the money people understand it.
Well, a lot of it, some of it, I'll be honest. So I've read a lot that some of them are like, it depends who owns the property, and like it's all this thing where it's like they want to do a sequel.
Yes, it's all about longevity.
Yeah, and then now who owns the rights to that, because that studio no longer exists. They got so it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I will say, but correction, Devil was not directed by him. It was produced by him. The movie Devil in the Elevator was not directed by him. It was produced. That was an excellent.
Quan says Old is a solid flick. I'm sure it's fine. The thing is that I think because he peaked so high, he peaked so early. I mean,
the problem was that he did like 3 movies in a row. The first 3 movies he did were so big, but they each had surprise endings.
Yes.
And I remember in the DVD featurettes of the Sixth Sense, he says, oh no, not a Sixth Sense, of Unbreakable. He says, yeah, this one has a surprise ending just like Sixth Sense. He goes, but I'm not planning on making my whole career about surprise endings, and he fucking did. He
had to, man. The second you do, it's like those TikTok stars, right? The second you get any notoriety on some social media platform, every bit of your content has to be the same thing, or they think because the people will just leave. They just will stop watching.
You know what's funny? I leave when it's the same thing. So I thought there was one girl who on Instagram, because I'm old, on Instagram posted like a throwback to like 90s hip hop music, and she was like, oh, this is how kids hear us or whatever. Like this is like 2 years ago.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And then every single post is the same fucking thing, just a different song. And she, just to get you, her whole thing is like she hooks you in with the nostalgia of that song that you haven't heard in X amount of time. And my wife is like, oh man, and she keeps sending me these videos. Like, just stop. I'm fucking tired of it.
Yeah.
She's like a one-trick pony, and it fucking bothers the shit out of me. And I really, It bothers. You know what it bothers? It bothers me when I follow anybody. That's why when you follow my Instagram, and I'm not trying to sell it. I'm being honest. Like I hate. I control my Instagram the same way I like going to see other people's Instagram. If I go to a stand-up comics Instagram and every single post is them doing stand-up, every single one, I'm like, do you do anything else but this?
Yeah.
Do you do anything else? Like it annoys me. Same thing with fucking actors, where it's like every single post is you promoting your current project. Like you don't have anything of your life. You don't show it. I like to show pictures of my kids and family. I like to show pictures of me doing podcasts or videos of me doing podcasts, videos of me doing stand up. Like I'll do, like I just try to do like the wider range, me doing reviews on like a TV show that I'm watching that's 15 years old.
Right.
Like I try to give a variety, because I just think that anybody who's like, it's like when you see that fat comic and go on stage and they do 45 minutes of fat jokes and you go, okay, bro, I get it. I fucking get it. Come on, man.
Right. That's that is like that one trick pony mentality of like the danger of that. You know, like what do you do when you've lost the trick, or people are seeing through the curtain? You know what I mean? Like are seen behind the curtain, where it's like I like that there's certain aspects of old school social media that I miss, which is like if I follow people, I want an option to see the people I follow's content in the order in which it was posted. Throw ads in there, I don't care, but show it to me in the order it was posted and show me everything. Give me every fucking thing. I don't care what the algorithm thinks it should be. Show me everything, because that's like old school Facebook days. There was no old school MySpace days. There was no jumbling. It was like to program it would have been too hard. So they were just like, just show it in order. That's what people want to see anyway. And then it became this thing about showing it in a specific order, or showing something else you might like. This was like, I don't care if I might like it. Yeah, but I'm not in the mood for that.
But often I do like I'm also, so I'm like, well, I'm like, oh, this is cool. Who the fuck is this? I'm like, oh, and it says suggested for you. I'm like, thanks, man.
Yeah, when it works, it works. I've always said that I'm a sucker for a targeted ad. When I like, it's like a T-shirt or something that I'm like,
I have a bit about it on stage where I'm like, I'm a sucker for a good suggestion. It's like, we suggested for you. I'm like, I didn't know. Yes, I do like that, Amazon. Thank you. Like I do like this. That's how I am with porn. I'm like, today's suggestions. I'm like, let me see what you got.
Let me see what you got. What's the menu for today? Today's specials are going to be interesting. The selection. Oh wow, that I did not know I liked, but I am learning something about myself right now.
I appreciate what. Just out of curiosity, though, what did I Google to make you think that I would like that? Because I'm a little concerned about my fucking cookies now.
Why do you think that I think that would? So I mean, I agree with you, but
you're not wrong.
You're wrong.
But I just want to know how you came to that. I just want to know how you came to that. Kush wants to know what three films you got. What three films do you guys think everyone needs to watch?
And that's an interesting question.
So
I don't think there's a real answer for that. This is just like our personal, like there's no three movies.
Literally asking.
No, but like I think there's always going to be debate of what an individual's tastes mean to this. Like I would never recommend the same three movies to you as I would recommend to my wife. You know what I mean? Like, because I know
there's Teen Witch.
There's Teen Witch number one with a bullet for everyone on Earth.
Teen Witch 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Teen Witch 2.
There is actually a Teen Witch 2. You know that, right?
Teen Witch 3, The Domination. Is there a Teen Witch 2?
That's so inside baseball.
I love that. You know what? We would do this if no one was watching, because this is our time to enjoy each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is it.
Teen Witch. There's a Teen Witch 2. No, I don't see it. Is it spelled T-O-O like Teen Wolf 2?
I don't know. I thought I saw Teen Wolf.
I don't know. I have to ask my resident Teen Witch expert.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I saw a different one.
You know what? There's a lot of young witch movies out there. I subscribe. I don't know how to answer this question other than to say what three movies I would want to see again for the first time. You know what I mean? Like, because just like everybody's tastes are different. So I would hate to give somebody.
You know what movie I loved and I didn't know that I got shit on until way after. But I even remember putting this on my MySpace profile where I was like, when it talked about movies, and I was like, and
Classic.
and then I put movies, and I put this movie will change your life. Like that.
That's very funny.
You know what movie it was? Crash.
Oh my God!
I thought Crash was a fucking excellent movie. I thought it was amazing, and it got so much shit. And I was
a
like,
lot of cynical people out there were like, and it was literally just like a story about like, and racism is fixed, or like it was like one of those things.
Fixed. It was like, but and that guy when his son came out and he's like, I protected you, my magic cape. I was like losing my ever loving mind. And I saw that movie before I had children. I'm sure if I see it now,
we're talking about the same. There's two crashes.
There's only one Crash, but the Crash has like 17 stories in it.
No, there was another movie called Crash around the same time. Crash movie. There was Crash in 2005 and Crash
2004 with Don Cheadle, Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, and then there was another Crash in 1996 about people who are sexually aroused by car crashes.
No,
I understand.
I'm sure that movie exists, but I'm not. Nobody's like, I hated Crash because nobody gets sexually aroused by.
A TV director and his wife join a subculture of scarred omnisexual car crash victims who use accidents as a raw sexual energy to rejuvenate their sex life.
Yes, but when people are shitting on Crash, that's not the one they're shitting on.
It's a Cronenberg movie. It is not, but it is a movie that came up an interesting amount when I worked at Blockbuster Video.
Wow.
Because there was people that would come in and rent that movie. And I'm like it's 1996. I worked there in like 99, 2000. I was like, what are you like? Is it that good? And they would rent it like often. It was always out. And I was like, what is it about this movie? I was like, what kind of freaks are these people watching these car crashes?
That's like before the internet, so they didn't have porn. So that's like this is the only. Remember when people used to watch, and this is including me, used to watch like
Scrambled.
No, not just a scrambled, but you used to watch TV that wasn't really porn, but you'd be like, it's like
Red Shoe Diaries,
Cinemax. Or like the Taxi Cab Confessions, and you used to watch that just on the hopes of you seeing some tit,
seeing a titty.
Yeah.
The Real Sex was a big one.
Sex,
and then you see normal looking people that looks like gross.
And you would still jerk off because that's all you had.
Well, I got to now.
Yeah, you didn't have
so
Crash is a movie that I thought at that time when I watched it, I'm like, this movie is so amazing.
Here are three movies I would like to see.
Same thing I would say for Shawshank Redemption. One of those movies aged better than the other.
It's hard because I'm talking about like literally just what's on my mind right now. If you asked me what three movies I would like to see again for the first time, just to discover again, it's movies that I've watched multiple times. I love them. One, I would love to, and it's not going to be like I'm already defending my choices, but one is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Sure.
When that first time that goes that I was in the theater and it goes boof, slow motion, big KO pops up on the screen. I was like, what the it was awesome. I loved that movie.
I was just like,
I was like, no, I was just kind of like blown away. I want to say the first I would want to watch. It's hard because Infinity and Endgame I would want to watch again for the first time. But that first Infinity War, like
so bad. This movie's so bad.
Frequency, which was that one?
That movie's so bad. That's
was it the one where
with Jesus? That's the one with Jesus and
talks to his dead dad.
And yes, through a radio, and they stop crimes that happened, 30 years ago.
Oh, right.
Like that's the part of the movie that everybody forgets. It would have been a cool movie if the father son talk to each other because the father dies and the son never got to know his dad as an adult. That would have been where the movie would have been cool. But then they start solving crimes.
Yeah.
From a serial killer and back in the
that 60s. Is wild. Is it the one that killed
and the way they do it is the way they prove to people that they're really doing it is through the fucking World Series.
Oh.
They're like, oh, this guy is gonna pitch this and he's gonna throw this guy out and he's gonna throw it. And people are like, how did you know that? And then it's like, it's just not. I saw that movie recently for the first time. That's why maybe I'm just watching it with today eyes and just like, oof, that's a rough one.
Okay, so here's my two. So the first one is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Second is I would say Endgame over Infinity War, just for that moment of
that portals, man. The portals.
Straight up Cap picking up the hammer. That alone, the first time I got goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
I still get goosebumps watching that, and I saw that again.
Every time.
Maybe 3 weeks ago, I watched it yet again.
Every time. And I think the third one might be The Usual Suspects. The twist. If you want a twist at the end, I think The Usual Suspects would be like, I don't know. The first one is because of the style of the movie was so amazing to me. Like the Scott Pilgrim, the music, everything about that movie was just fucking cool to me. Chris Evans makes a double appearance in my list. And then Endgame was just Endgame. It was just like the culmination of all of this stuff. And then Usual Suspects for the twist.
So I saw Gladiator in theaters, and to me that was like the perfect movie. I was like, good, all right, good. I saw this, and I remember me and my brother looked at each other right when he he like looked at the sand and he smelled the sand, and me and my brother looked at each other and we did the fucking Rock's eyebrow because it like just that seemed like a Rock move to do. It was like, yeah, I don't know. Is that I don't know, movies that I wish I could see again for the first time. You know what? And this one is very harsh movie to watch, but just Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It was I remember that movie and I was like, this movie's beautiful. Like
Eternal Sunshine is a rough one.
It's a rough one to rewatch. But if you're watching it for the first time, you don't know it's rough. You just watch it.
Right. You're just going like, what's this about? Jim Carrey? It's gonna be a comedy, and then by the end, you're like, it was not a comedy. It was not a comedy. Please.
It's great. I don't know. There's a lot of movies, man. My favorite 3 movies of all time are Braveheart, Gladiator, and then the third one always fluctates. But Good Will Hunting is pretty much in the running.
Ooh, that's a solid one. That's a solid pick.
Yeah.
That's on my Matt Damon mountain.
I did. Oh, that's the movie Rounders. They want to do a sequel to Rounders.
Wow.
So Matt Damon has said even up to recently, but he said, me and Ed Norton, we have a great script for we want to do a sequel to Rounders, but we don't know who owns the rights to it. Like it's like this, it's like in this limbo.
Yeah.
You don't know who the fuck to go to.
Yeah.
Because so many people have their hands in the pot, and they want their take. So
I wonder, I because a lot of those
movies, man.
Rounders is a great movie.
Rounders is great, man.
Yeah, Rounders is a good movie. It's like what movie I hadn't thought about in a while that I was like, oh, that I want to watch it again. Boiler Room. Have you seen Boiler Room? I haven't seen that movie. It's I loved it, but I want to know if it was the age I was that thinks it was good. It's like when you watch Boondock Saints again and you're just kind of like, oh,
that could be your old school pick. Boiler Room.
Okay, you know what? That is my old school pick. It's gonna be Boiler Room.
My old school pick is Teen Witch 2. I'm kidding. No, you know what? My old school pick is Crash. I'm gonna go with Crash. I'm breaking the 1989 tradition, and I'm going with 2004's Crash.
Where's the list of what's going?
I want to watch it again.
Wait, what was mine?
What was yours? I just forgot.
Boiler Room. And Crash. Well, no. What would your have a 1989 pick have been? Because Crash was just something that came up in conversation.
I gotta look up. I had my list on 1989 movies.
We'll get a bonus one. Crash is a bonus one.
Sure.
Crash 1996, the one about people getting horny from car accidents.
Of course. That's clearly
the one you're talking about.
There's a few of them here, man. I'm trying to think. You know what? The movie K-9.
Whoa. With Jim Belushi?
Don't forget the fucking German Shepherd, dude. Why does everybody just always say Jim Belushi and then forget?
Because I don't know the German Shepherd's name. Otherwise, I would credit him.
Well, he's a German Shepherd.
Oh, my goodness.
It's something Stein or something. I don't know. It's probably a fucking rough German name.
Can you... There was a period of time where there was in the 80s, 90s that it was all about a cop and a dog or somebody and a dog. There was always a dog friend
Yes.
dog partner, a dog like Turner and Hooch. There was
Love that movie, Turner and Hooch.
Turner and Hooch is
One of
iconic.
one of my favorite things is what's his name? Tom Hanks was on Inside the Actor Studio, and he actually did Inside the Actor Studios twice. And the first time he was in Inside the Actor Studios, somebody asked him, like during a Q&A, somebody said, me and my family's favorite movie is Turner and Hooch. And then people laughed. And she kind of laughed too, but she was like, no, seriously. And then she asked
No,
her,
it means something to me.
It means something to her. Like our entire family watched it. And Tom Hanks said, it's so funny how people like gravitate to certain projects. And some projects don't do well, whatever, or in the box office, or critics don't like them. It's like, I put more effort into that movie than anything else. Like I remember sitting up in the car and then getting up like and then acting like, oh, what, did I miss something, whatever. And he's like, that movie, like I was with a dog, so like that movie, he's like, I worked so hard on that. And like to hear all these years later, like, no, that was me and my family's favorite. Like we all sit around and watch that movie. And she was like, we all sit around and watch that movie every year. That's the movie we watch. And he's like, that was like so meaningful to me.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that there's Turner Hooch is a great fucking movie, is what I'm trying to say, man. Fuck you, Turner Hooch. Don't you talk shit about Turner Hooch, man.
It ain't Joe versus the volcano.
That movie's not good either, but it's not bad though. It's not bad.
It's like a very specific window into movies at a specific time, and people trying to be Tim Burton, and it was like, it's good. Like there's so much that we look back on,
but it's not bad. K9 has Jim Belushi in it. It also has some guy named Ed O'Neill.
Oh, Ed O'Neill. Wonder what he's done. Only two of the biggest sitcoms in all of TV history.
Yeah, and Rando, which is a dog's name.
Rando.
Not
Rambo.
No, Rando. The character's name was Jerry Lee.
That's right.
But the dog's name, the
Jerry Lee.
The actor was Rando and Colton. There was two dogs that played.
Yeah.
It's like all good performances are played by twins.
We have a comment from Porcupine Jason. Thank you for watching. Can you believe the government just destroys all that cocaine? He's still hung up on the cocaine. We need to find a better option for the government.
There's no way the government destroys that cocaine. That cocaine is future. It's repurposed for like drug busts and like undercover work. I watch enough TV.
We need to find a better option for the governments to make money from the confiscation of those drugs. Use it to pay the civil servants. I mean, they could just give the civil servants the cocaine to do their jobs.
How about instead of a pizza party, we have a cocaine party?
Yo, I would. Are you kidding? I don't even do cocaine. I just like the idea of the fact that it's like it's not pizza.
I love the idea of there being an office party with cocaine. I love the idea. Like, what can go wrong?
It's like that End of the World movie. That movie, that End of the World movie with I think it's Steve Carell. I think. Seeking a friend for the end of the world or whatever it is, and basically like at a certain point, like there's like an asteroid coming or the usual stuff, and then they go to a party, and they're like, oh, we're doing all the drugs we were afraid to try, but now that the world is ending, he's gonna do it. And then someone walks by with like a baggie of heroin, and he's like, ooh, like save some for me, like they're treating it like whatever because it's the end of the world. It's like that.
Yeah. Kush says that the Truman Show was better than Eternal, and I wholeheartedly disagree.
Totally different movies.
But
completely different.
Wholeheartedly. I just saw the Truman Show again 3 months ago, and it was the first time in like 20 years that I've seen the movie, and it's a really good movie. But Eternal Sunshine is far superior.
It's a totally different level of movie making. Yolanda says When Harry Met Sally, classic, amazing. That's a movie you would like to see again for the first time, Yolanda. I think that's a good choice.
You know why? Because when you realize when you want to watch the best movie of your life, you want to, you don't want to waste another minute.
You want to just start right away. You want the rest of your life to start right now. And then ask Don Jr. about the cocaine. I will when I see him. You know how we're buddies.
You know how it is.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. We have done a great job today. A pat on the back for me. A pat on the back for you, Nery. A pat on the back for everyone.
We didn't even talk about Dirty Pop.
Nope, we didn't.
But you know why? It's because Stephanie's on assignment, and we need
her to talk about Dirty Pop. Stephanie's on assignment. She lost a whole bunch of cocaine off the coast of Florida. I don't know. She's got to reclaim it or something. Who knows?
She was waiting. What if somebody was waiting for that cocaine and it just went to the wrong like coast, like line? You know what I mean? Like a message in a bottle.
There's like just dudes lined up on the shore.
And they're just like, where is it? Where is it? And they're just like,
do you see it? I don't see it. Thank you everybody for watching. You can watch us live if you're seeing this in the future from us, which is your present. You're seeing us in the past.
When would then be now?
Soon. In the future, you can watch us live in the moment and be in the comments just like everybody else in the comments right now. Thank you everybody. Thank you Quan. Thank you Yolanda. Thank you Porcupine
Kush.
Jason. Thank you Kush. Thank you Nery. And
appreciate
follow
it.
us.
Check out I just need to make sure you could check out the new special. The new album is out live in Miami, available everywhere. So just make sure you get that wherever you can.
Live in Miami. Mike Mercadal at Mike Mercadal on social media, at Nery Saenz, at WUBro Pod on all the social media platforms. Nery, is there anything else you'd like to say before we go?
No, just follow me and then keep on the lookout for something that's gonna happen. I don't know. I don't even know when it's gonna happen. That shit could come out like in fucking 3 years. It could be.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't even fucking know. Like that's why I'm just like I don't even give. Like I don't even whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, love you guys. Thank you guys for checking us out. And that's how winning is done.
Do you have the horde?